I have a Discord server, and on that server there's a place where people can post some of the builds they actually created. And today I'm going to be taking some of the best elements from these builds and creating my own build. I'm sure you guys won't mind. Teddy posted some pretty good looking roads right there, which honestly might work pretty well for a main entranceway. Like say this is the intended way you're supposed to get to the house. Only big problem with this challenge is it's gonna be kinda hard to like copy things block for block. But you know, improvisation never hurt a little bit, just so long as it generally looks the same as the original. I also noticed the fact that this bridge also has like railways going on the side of it, which I think honestly is pretty clever. Like, it keeps the aesthetic of the bridge, but not ruining it. Teddy, a really smart move. Only real tricky thing to rebuild is these supports. Maybe instead of having like a bunch, maybe we could just have like one big one. Second thought, that'd make really tall supports. So maybe having a couple across might not be too bad. Yeah, I think that definitely works. But now onto the house itself, and this is where things are gonna get a bit, Frankenstein-y, I guess. So Snippet, an old friend of mine, posted this house right here, and I kind of want to take at least the front part of it. And honestly, for a perfect house build, this is probably the most normal the front of a house is ever going to look. But everything else for certain is going to be at least a little bit out of the norm. The great thing Snippet puts into all her builds is pretty much a bunch of detail, which is also, at least in my case, a hindrance because there's a lot of detail in her builds. But with exceptions to maybe like the windows, I think I'm pretty spot on. And to be connecting everything to the road and everything like that, I'm going to be using a design that Tan's posted. Unlike everything I've been doing so far where I've been trying to match it pretty closely, this road, it's probably going to be a little bit different. So now that we have all this done, I kind of want to work on like the surrounding area right here because honestly it's a little bit barren right now. Fortunately for us, however, Doob actually posted some waterfall features which we might be able to replicate. Clearly not perfectly, like we don't have as much elevation, but hey, it's better than nothing. Yeah, this definitely improves things even though it's just a minor change. But let's get back to the house and actually do some proper work to it. So I'm going to be taking more inspiration from Snippet's builds, and not just the builds themselves, but also like the way they're actually built. Because if you actually look at a lot of her builds, they're actually kind of stacked on top of each other, one after the other. And that's kind of what I'm going to be doing for this entire house. But of course, instead of just Snippet builds, it's going to be a whole bunch of different types of building styles and builders and things like that. Starting off with the lower part of a tower that Snippet posted. Again, I promise this won't be just Snippet builds. Right out the back, I'm probably going to add a little bit of a build from Duba. And then right off the side of that, I'm going to have a chunk of K-Flip space from a Cosmic Season. Little did I realize how much of a puzzle this entire build was going to become. Like, seriously, this is becoming a Frankenstein of a build. But after this edition, which by the way, even though really simple, is actually still pretty hard, we pretty much just have this one spot we gotta fill in now. And there's the build that was posted that looks absolutely humongous and is really dark lighted, but I think I could still maybe pick apart some of the pieces and at least make a section that looks somewhat similar to the original. Okay, making the big dark box, that was easy enough. Detailing it with all those zigs and zags and ups and downs, that's a different kind of fun. In the case that it's not necessarily crazy fun, especially since the amount of surface area we're working with is a lot less than the original. But we still might be able to do some zigging and some zagging on this thing. Well, maybe the zigs and zags, but I don't think we can make the curves work in here. And I guess because we're not being entirely accurate with this entire, like, dark box, we might as well continue being inaccurate. But instead of having, like, those little pyramid things on top, we're going to be building a windmill from James's World. Oh, and a little bit of a J-Shark build right next to it. And I think with that, the exterior is pretty much finished. Oh, jeez, what did I do? This is what I'd imagine you'd get if you asked AI to make a Minecraft base. Like, seriously, this is kind of a mess, but also kind of a beautiful mess. But now time to bring that beauty inside, and I think the way we could do that is making a little bit of a redstone door inside the actual door. Okay, easy enough. The inside, on the other hand, how am I gonna go about doing this? What types of interior have you guys made? Well, I couldn't find any good home interiors, but what I did find was this entire room filled with redstone lamps. And you know, it ain't much, but it's all we got right now, so might as well work with it. Alright, not a bad start. And on these upper levels, I'm gonna be building like what looks to be elements of an ice ring or something like that. Whatever it is, I'm building it up here. And okay, the bottom bit is a little bit more stretch out than the original, but honestly, combining these two actually makes for a really cool looking room. Also, after looking at the picture closer, I noticed there's a lot more calcite than just diorite, but you know what, it's fine. We're looking to borrow the builds, not making them look exactly the same as the original. And on the topic of that, I've noticed this one build that has a whole bunch of birch and a whole bunch of sandstone and stuff, and I think this room in particular might benefit from that design. It's gonna be much smaller than the original, but that should be fine. I feel like this build's gonna be the one I steal from the least, and I'm gonna have to actually be creative, whatever that is. Ooh, wait. I have an idea. It's a brilliant idea. It saves me the trouble of being creative. I bring over this wall a little bit. I close up this wall a bit. And there we go. A much more workable room now. It looks like at the bottom right here, it's like a big old map room, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna do, but instead I could put... Yeah, I think something like this will be fine. And this is what the room actually eventually ended up looking like, and I think it still matches like the tone and the idea of the original, but on a much smaller and more condensed scale. Also, we had this little extra bit of space, and I figured instead of just leaving it empty, just putting something in here. But yeah, I think for the most part, this entire house is pretty much finished. And again, it's crazy to look at, and if I could figure it out, I'll get a world download for this world. Wait a minute, I didn't do the garage yet. Why didn't I do the garage? Okay, hold that thought. Let's just continue this hands are inside. Put a donkey head in here, and then just add one little thing to the wall. Perfect.